Okay, so AOC. Well, all right, we'll do AOC. So,
Yeah.
do you know who Tom Holland is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the border czar.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Trump's border czar. Very hot and heavy.
Spiderman.
Yeah, so
Spiderman.
he
He was really good in Civil War.
yeah.
I remember the first time I watched it. This is David Rubin, I guess. I remember I watched the first trailer where like he appears, man, and that was really cool. Are we talking about a different Tom Holland?
Tom. I guess it's more Tom Holman. This the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said Tom Holland.
Sorry. But
okay.
here I'll share
My apologies.
This is regards.
I thought we were going to get
between-
some Zendaya news.
Yeah,
man.
this
I
is
was
between. This is about him and AOC, and
Oh.
their relationship, I guess, started when he was at a hearing of the oversight committee, and
So they're together now. You said their relationship.
No. Well,
is this a romantic comedy where
it could be? I guess if you worded it right, but
the person she's interrogating, she falls in love with. She can't help it, and it's like a living manifestation of like that whole like I can save him thing, where it's like they establish that there's compatibility there, and she just has to prove his political difference is wrong.
Kind of starts like that. Well, she kind of prods him on that by this questioning here. So we'll just let it play out here.
Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that.
Homan.
Oh. So you are the author
Homan,
of the family separation policy.
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommend a zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way.
Okay, so if you're an idiot, you might think that John Holman's fucking cooking here, but there's the devil's in the detail in this regard. So Homan wants to act like undocumented entry is a criminal act when it is a civil violation. Like a parking ticket. Okay. They're not hardened criminals when you are in this country without. You're not a hardened criminal when you're in this country without the proper documentation.
Oh, wait, you've never been separated for your family for jaywalking?
Yeah. You never had your you separated from your family for
or for
parking 5 minutes over the limit. Like
that hasn't happened to you. That happens to me all
really?
the time. I always get separated from my aunts and my uncles for crossing the street when I shouldn't. I thought that was just like a daily reality.
Ma'am, drop the child. You're in violation of citation codes.
Yeah. Drop the child, separate the kid.
So, yeah. So that's, of course, Homan's now the border czar, and he has tried to do a lot of major ICE raids. One of them, I believe, in Aurora. That you remember, that was the home place of the supposed Venezuelan gangs taking over the apartments there, which was just a slumlord's way to cover up the fact that he was not taking care of his tenants. Regardless, the raids did not go so well because residents were tipped off, and much to the annoyance of Homan, people were being educated on their rights.
Right, which he didn't like, and he tried to crack down against AOC.
Yeah, he did not.
But I also like how he says, like, you know, you have to go through the proper legal channels if you want to immigrate safely.
Oh yeah, yeah. Never
but the
mind
administration
the
has
fact
also been cracking down against legal channels.
Yeah, never mind the fact that the ports of entries are all fucked anyway.
There was an app that was designed to like expedite the process.
Yes.
Immigrants in the country, and they made sure to make that app no longer functioned. So like this whole thing about proper channels. No, that's just like that's their way of justifying their persecutorial standpoint about all this. Yeah. They had a bill that they could have all signed on to, which increased both border protection and significantly increased the number of asylum judges in the country, and they didn't support that bill. So like I just like I don't appreciate or trust any interpretation they have when it comes to how they're.
Well, he's very upset that migrant workers, immigrants, documented and undocumented, are being educated on their rights. And he was so upset that he thinks because he found out that AOC was spearheading these attempts to get the word out on people knowing their rights. And he feels like that itself is a crime and that she should be investigated. So
heard you talking about AOC over the weekend. Do you believe she is breaking the law?
I'll leave that up to DOJ. What I find disturbing is that any member of Congress wants to educate people how they evade law enforcement. You can claim you're educating those constitutional rights. Okay, you can keep that claim. What she in fact doing, telling people don't open your door, hide in your home, don't talk to ICE. We're talking.
Which is
now I need to remind people.
It reminds me so much of like, you remember when like they were after the what was the ABC debate? They were complaining about the fact checkers.
Yes,
it's like when we get fact checked, it makes us look really embarrassed. When somebody educates other people who are living here about their rights, that kind of that's an impediment to our political goals. And basically what they're admitting to is like we can only accomplish our political goals
by being sneaky.
If people forfeit their rights.
Yeah. We can
and
only,
what else are you admitted to by saying that?
Yeah, we can only do our job if we're able to trick people. So we need them to answer the door and come out, identify who they are. You know, they have to think that we're allowed into their residences without a warrant. You know, these things matter. And again,
you got to show up like Nosferatu.
Again,
and just be asked into the home.
speaking of the law, and if you don't think that it's fair to tell people on their rights, remember that it was legally decided in a court of law that the police have every right to lie to you if it means that they are going to apprehend crimes better. They have no obligation to tell you the truth. They can lie in whatever means necessary if it means that it's going to result in some type of criminal activity being captured.
And that would be kind of like if AOC just reminded people that they can plead the fifth.
Yeah.
That would be some kind of like a impediment to the investigation or something like that. Reminding people of their rights should be. I mean, even law enforcement does that. They remind people that you have the right.
Well, I wonder what Homan's thoughts are on the whole Miranda rights. Does he not?
I know. Even our local law enforcement. If the standard is that reminding people of their rights means they are liable for prosecution, then our friend Homan here also has to take the position that every law enforcement officer who reminds people of their rights is also legally in a position to be prosecuted against, because apparently reminding people of their rights is a problem. So this guy is more all cops are bastards than most of us leftists are.
Even people who are like obvious criminals. Like it's no doubt that they did something wrong. They still have rights. You can't just
of course.
You can't just abuse.
Well, they've been trying to suspend that. The habeas corpus is in jeopardy. As a lot of they've, as I know like they've set the pretext where people can be detained without charge or without proper investigation.
And until then, like even if people are here in this country undocumented, you still cannot circumvent the civil rights of these people that are residing in this country. It doesn't matter. You need a warrant to enter homes. You know, you don't have to force people to identify who they are. For anybody wondering, you do not have to identify yourself unless you've committed a crime.
Yeah.
And the that's the whole point there. So if you are not, if they can't find that you've committed a crime, you don't have to provide any information to you. You don't have to show them ID or nothing. Like there's a team of lawyers, two guys I on YouTube I follow, where it's basically, your job is to shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. You know what I'm talking about? Those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everybody does have that right. Reminding people of their rights should not be.
No, it's not a crime to remind people.
It's
of their
not.
rights. So,
it's like,
all right, Homan. What's your defense?
Or in the country illegally, committed a crime, they're a public safety threat, they've been convicted.
Okay, again, it's a civil violation to be in this country without documentation. Okay.
Yeah.
It's only a crime if these people, engaged in criminal activity like robbery, assault, murder, stuff like that. Which I'm not saying that undocumented immigrants have never been found of. There are cases of that, even though the fact that undocumented immigrants commit less crime than U.S. citizens, that's just a fact that, again, they don't fucking care about. So.
And there's also one of the justifications for Donald Trump saying that we also have to curtail legal immigration is that we don't have the resources to accommodate the extra population density, we can say.
Right.
But the way that it turns out is that we don't have the resources to deny these people. It is the more like actual reality of the situation, where there's a disproportional number of immigrants who start small businesses and create jobs. And whether it's federal or state taxes, they end up actually contributing more than they take. If we're being extremely deferential to the totality of the truth, I believe like when it comes to the state tax expenditures, initially they take more than they give. That's because of how demanding the costs for public education are. But as time goes on, they end up contributing even more. So on both a state and federal tax level, they contribute more than they take. When it comes to job growth, they are essential and vital to that situation as well.
But Dave, they're here illegally. They have to go. Like, this is a childish understanding of like this.
But these are this
black and white morality
migrants.
Bullshit.
Yeah. But it applies to legal migrants as well. Even people who, and this is what's applicable to the narrative that we can't process these people legally because we don't have the resources to accommodate these legal migrants. And it's like, well, if resources are the primary concern, then you should be immigrating more people, because on a basis of statistical likelihood, legal migrants contribute more to our economy than native-born people do. And that's not me saying something that's supposed to be damaging towards native-born people. It's just the economic reality. So it's kind of funny how, once again, they have to be hostile to the economic realities, and they have to directly contradict the truth in order to advance their narrative, which is completely fucking commonplace if you're conservative, because there's no legitimate reason to be conservative anymore.
All right, I'm sorry for interrupting Homan here, but
of serious crime, and they've been ordered removed by a federal judge. So it's like AOC and others don't want ICE to enforce the laws that they enacted. She's a member of Congress. Let us enforce the laws you enacted. That's what we're supposed to do.
You can't go after her. Do you think others should?
What the fuck kind of question is that?
If the DOJ can't go after her, who's going after her?
What the fuck? Oh, God.
What is this? Are we going to have Stalin start assassinating his generals again? Or what kind of authority is this?
Do you think somebody with so much less to lose should just take matters in their own hands and just get rid of her? Oh my God.
At 1 second they do not appreciate Mangione. On the next, they're asking for a vigilante justice.
Fuck.
No, I think I've asked DOJ, where's that line of impediment, of interference? Now, if someone stands in your way, prevents you from arresting somebody, put your hands on it, that's impediment. But what line is telling people to hide from ICE, not open the door? Where do you cross that line on impediment? So I've simply asked the Department of Justice, give us that line.
You have talked to them about this. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Wow.
He's very mad. He's very mad that people are being informed of rights.
Yeah, I'm very old. I'm very disgruntled.
Yeah, I'm
I
very
do not like
grumpy
what's
about
happening,
that.
even though it's completely within the parameters of what is
Yeah.
lawful,
There's
acceptable.
a follow up to that. I guess this is where it gets kind of more personal for him.
That's because he knows he's
first
on a
of all, I
slippery
think-
slope and he has to get more.
She's, you know, I won't go after her on
Tom,
national
please
TV
do.
because,
Please do.
she
Say
don't-
what's
she
on your
only-
mind. It's a holiday.
Look, she's the dumbest congresswoman ever elected to the Congress, and she proves that every day. And look, bottom line is, I can't believe any member of Congress, Republican, Democrat, Independent.
Let's
You know,
compare what's
it's one thing
stupid.
to comment on
Somebody
somebody's
who's saying
intelligence
that
when you're fucking, you can't even fucking exert a coherent sentence.
well, yeah, a coherent sentence, and also imagine how stupid you have to be to say that it's illegal for somebody to remind people of their rights.
Yeah,
you have to be inheriting the stupid position to assert otherwise. So you're already trying to inherit a platform of inferiority there. But this is the other thing, is that, you know, when somebody has a deficiency when it comes to the substance, they will resort to smears against their character and their personhood.
He is totally not mad at her right now. Just totally not mad.
He never needed a trigger warning in his life.
Who are in the country illegally, been convicted of a violent crime, and have been ordered removed by an immigration judge after due process at great taxpayer expense. You got a congressman or congresswoman that does not want ICE to do the job that Congress has mandated them to do. And
honestly, I'm kind of.
Well, let's talk about taxpayer expense for a second. Why are we funding a genocide against the Palestinians again?
Well, yeah, I know.
Which comes at like a higher cost for taxpayers, I wonder. Whatever he's talking about, like the detainment of illegal immigrants, or the hundreds of millions, billions of dollars that are being funneled into that kind of humanitarian crisis. Really, really wonderful guy.
Yeah. Well, that's our boy Homan.